Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book 91. We're here giving you guys, I guess, we're giving you guys a little bit of a review. We might have to do a part one and part two because it is a little bit late and people are going to be feeling a little bit more tired. So we might do a part one and part two. So we're just going to drop part one first and foremost. We're going to talk about the interview we just had with Amber, and then we'll kind of talk a little bit about the show as well. If we've got the strength, we'll go for it. If we haven't got the strength, we'll just cut it and stop it, and we'll go again maybe tomorrow, or go again a little bit later on the week, all right? So we can get the full richness of the panelists, you know what I'm saying? But if you do want to join the conversation tonight, there is space. I want you guys to join Life of Bodge. Get yourself here. Get yourself here. You know what I'm saying? If you watch the show, if you watch Ready to Love and you want to have your say, get involved, jump aboard today. Choo choo. You know what I'm saying? But let's get into this conversation. I've got a few of my panelists behind the scenes. No crazy introductions today because it's a little bit late. Like I said, I want to get straight into the conversation and start breaking some stuff down today. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're not gonna go for, I don't think we'll go for them. We might maybe just do an hour and then maybe choose another day and come back in the week. Depends how strong we're going. Okay. Layla, Kenny, and Onu, welcome to the stage. I wanna get straight into the conversation. We're not gonna waste time. The interview. Onu, you had a lot of smoke from behind, so I'm gonna let you go first.
I will go first. Oh, okay.
Talk to us.
Okay, so I'm gonna break the interview. The first half, the second half. I think the first half was very informative. Learned a lot more about Amber as a person, and it was I kind of was able to relate to more of the character about things she said in the show. The second half, I was just like, I am amazed and appalled. Like I didn't know what was going on behind the Ready to Love streets, and I was like, oh, she is running the Kansas City offense out here. Like she is no. She is scoring touchdowns left and right out here. She's scoring out days. This thing, it's just like it is what it is. I'm at a loss of words, so I definitely gonna need some other panels' opinion about this.
I'm hearing you on that. Kenny, unload the clip for us.
Unload the clip? Oh no! Oh, come on now! Don't do that to me. Hi, Kojo. Hi, everyone. Hi, yes. Layla, Anu. It's good to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's like really, really late, so we may not get into the full strength of things, but we're gonna try. We move. Amber, yo, look, I'm sure she's used her face as a weapon so many times. That innocent look that she has. If anybody would have told me that Amber was the puppeteer in the background, I wouldn't have believed it. I would not have believed it. And this is why I go back to what I was saying about her relationship with KG. I think she likes him enough for her strategy. But I didn't think her strategy was as deep as it was. I feel like a lot of the stuff that we were suspecting the other contestants, other participants of doing or of being, maybe they were, but I will give Amber credit for just being real and honest about her gameplay. I will also give her credit for not really relying so heavily on the whole excuse of editing. Like she, for the most part, stood 10 toes down in like, okay, it is what it is. But I will say, Amber, I didn't get a sense that she took accountability for the stuff that she needed to take accountability for, like exposing Burn out there in front of everyone. I still don't understand what's going on with her and Ron's relationship. Like the more she talked, the more confused I was getting. And her and KG's relationship, the whole I want to have 4 kids, but then I don't know. The more she talked, the more confused I was getting. And I'm going to ask people to forgive me. It is late at night, so my filters are on vacation. So I'm going to be a little bit more direct with my review. And I will say, walking away from this interview with Amber, I was not pleasantly surprised.
I'm hearing you. Layla, what was your thoughts?
Hi, everybody. So yeah, Amber. Oh, Amber. Oh, wow. So when I was listening to her speak, I was waiting for a timeline, and it came at the very end after we gotten like a couple rounds of I don't want to call it propaganda, but I'll say spin, right? And that's when we discovered that actually, although you're telling us that you and Vern had an issue because you kissed Joel, you still felt like you needed enough loyalty to like call her dude in there and basically expose him for doing something that could be considered disloyal. But y'all just had the issue with her feeling like you were disloyal. And that actually just happened a couple days before this conversation. But you're claiming sisterhood is the reason why you needed to do this. Like it made no sense. It felt like I don't want to pin a motivation down of, oh, I felt some type of way when the name he said that wasn't Vernisha was Kyra. I don't know if that's the reason. I mean, that's what I felt, and that's what I saw other people saying as well. But whatever the motivation was, it wasn't what she said on the live that you guys just did, because there's no way you're like, I owe you nothing. I can kiss who I want to kiss, and I don't have to tell you. That's completely true.
Yeah.
Then why do you need to expose Joel if you owe her nothing? Why? Yeah, no. It was interesting, it was confusing, it was entertaining. I'll say good job, because I was quite disappointed that David didn't show up, but you know what? Thank you, Amber, for coming through. You looked great. You looked great.
Stunning. She looked stunning.
Yeah,
Looking an absolute
amazing.
baddie. Absolute baddie. Onu, talk to us, man. What are you saying, bro? What are you thinking, man? You're muted, Onu.
I'm bamboozled. Like at the end, I was like, I think it was like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type situation. Like I didn't know what to expect at the end. At the end, I feel like she talked about representative. Like her representative on the show probably isn't who she is in real life, and I kind of feel like I guess I got a whole new understanding of who she is. There's good parts, or there's good parts and not so good parts, and we're still going to be sorting all through those. It just I'm not a big fan of like this season of the show. Like I don't understand. It's like everyone's complaining about editing the show's editing to make the show certain parts versus other parts, and it's just like we don't know about other things until it's way too late, or something gets exposed. I wish there would be a better way for the show to let us see the whole aspect of what these contestants are doing, like on screen and off the screen. But what's going on off the screen that we're not talking about? It's like I got a little bit tonight. I want to know more. I'm trying to figure this out. That's where I'm at.
I'm hearing you on that. I'm hearing you on that. Ken.
What's the question?
No question. I was just wondering if you had anything else to add in terms of what you were sensing from the interview, what you got from it, anything that you drew from that interview.
No. 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 I don't want to like so. So here's the thing: the angel, and the non-angel on my shoulder are battling it out right now. Because I want to be understanding of Amber being a human being. But then I'm also battling with the fact that I want to critique the character Amber on Ready to Love, and I feel like the character Amber Ready to Love. I don't know, man. I think there's a huge lack of self-awareness there in how she's navigating. Look, let me just take a step back. To all the Ready to Love characters, participants, contestants, cast members, there is nothing wrong with owning your mistakes. There is nothing wrong with saying, look, I watched it back, my bad. I should have done better. I should have pulled Vern to the side. You're right. I really learned something from watching that, and I could do better next time. If there's any smoke you're trying to deflect with all of the stories and all of the narratives you try to spin, whether it's production, editing, I don't have any loyalty. I'm like Beyonce treating Fire like crap and Destiny's Child. Like, you can go home, no loyalties, even though we're part of a group type thing. Like, if there is any narrative you're trying to spin in these interview rounds, just drop it.
Mm-hmm.
Just drop it, because you literally come out looking unlikable. Like, I'm just gonna be honest, very unlikable. Like, we're all human. When we on the panel sit here and we critique, we're not critiquing you. At least I'm not critiquing as an individual. And I know it can be hard to delineate between a critique on behavior versus critique on identity. It's very hard. A lot of times when you hear feedback, even constructive or not, it's easy to tie it to your identity and say, if you accept it, it means you're a bad person. We're not saying you're bad people for the mistakes that you make, because we on the panel sometimes say we see ourselves in these characters. So there is nothing wrong with saying, hey, I should have been a little bit more loyal. I should have been a little bit more cognizant. And if there's a standard that I'm holding myself to, I should hold that standard across board. And if there's an inconsistency, you know what? I watched it back, my bad. You will actually come out more mature. But spinning these narratives just makes you look incredibly lacking in self-awareness, maturity, and if anything, it proves our points right. Like, you're not learning from this. Like, I don't know if you need to be. I don't know if there's a particular personality type that you need to be on these reality shows, but we haven't really seen a lot of people that prove us wrong when they come in these interviews. And Amber's interview was one that I was unpleasantly surprised. I walked away from thinking of her as just being an extra on the show to actually looking at her as being more of a villain, if I'm being 100% honest.
Hey, old girl knew what she was. Hey, one thing I love about Amber is, listen, my girl here was pulling strings. Now, can I just say, I just want to say again, remember when we had a conversation about Joel kissing on her cheek? What I say to you was warfare. Did I not tell you guys this? That it's not just a kiss on the cheek, this was warfare. And at the time, he was like, we shouldn't make a big deal for kiss. And I said, no. This is warfare. This girl has exposed how the warfare was happening behind the scenes. Listen, that kiss was only one of the two kisses. That's what even threw me off even more, bro. Like, that was a simple kiss. The second one was obviously an actual kiss, which is why I was saying that I was confused. Not that I'm actually confused. Like, when I say okay, so let me expose myself. When I say I'm confused, I'm not confused. I say that so that the person who on the other end goes, why is he confused? I want the person to kind of pause, because I want the person to explain more about what they're saying. So I almost want to play dumb, because I want you to go deeper. I heard what you said. I know exactly what you just said. But I want you to explain it and make sure you're saying what you're saying, so that we don't have no, oh, that's not what I actually meant. Once you said it, you've said it. And I think she repeated several times with the whole Joel situation. And I just felt like for me, what she exposed more was especially the Joel and the Venetia situation, in the fact that Joel choosing Kyra was the highest form of madness. This guy and listen, as a man, you're not dumb. You're smart. You know this, right? As a man, let me be very frank with you. Even though I know it's a men's lounge and a men's gala, I damn well know this is going to get out. Because whoever these guys are talking to, it's going to come out their mouth what I've said. Especially if you know I've shocked you all by saying someone completely out of this thing that you never considered to me. He knew that information was going to get back, right? Because he could have chosen Amber. He didn't. He chose Kyra for a reason. There's no other reason why to choose Kyra except for the fact that that is the highest form of effery you can bring to the girl that you're trying to do one over, right? It's a classic Playboy book. When you want to really hurt the girl, you try to get her best friend, right? So that you have that one up on her. So choosing Kyra was really a one up. It was so for me, when she said that they had kissed and everything, and they actually had a connection, some form of connection, I thought to myself, so why didn't you choose Amber? Because Amber and Vern don't really get on too tough, as she has said herself. But he decided to choose Kyra, and he knows what kind of connection that Vern and Amber has. And I said, this guy is the dangerous guy, bro, because you decided to choose Kyra for a proper reason. You're calculated about your moves. And I said, Joel, we can't wait to have you on here and interview you as well, Joel. You know what I'm saying? With the open button shirt. Layla, talk to us. What was your thoughts? And then we'll go to Oni. I know Oni wants to add.
Yeah, just first and foremost, I want to just agree exactly with what Kenny said. You know, we are critiquing the edit of people who are portraying a sliver of their personalities, right? So Amber or David or whoever, you know, taking it personally is just like, that's, you know, you lived it. We're watching a version of it. We're watching a lens of a lens on it, right? So I can't tell anybody how to feel about the things that we say, but I can say we're just consuming what was packaged for us, and you know, this is the situation that we signed up for, right? So yeah, no, I mean, Joel is, he knows exactly what he's doing. You know, Vernisha is his so-called, you know, bottom B. You know, that's what they call the woman who sort of takes it, takes the foolery. You know, when I was watching the episode, I was thinking like, dang, Vernisha has a lot more like fire and edge to her voice when she speaks to Joelle. And like, I personally just at this point in my life, even if she's not saying anything completely crazy in the moment, just that tone is not going to really work for me, right? And I think that is what Joel has him looking for his second option to solidify that even more. That's what has him going back on a date and kissing Amber again. That's what has him saying Kyra, speaking it into existence, that maybe he can bring something to fruition with that. Like, I really think that he had been peeping a couple of things in a row about the dynamic with Vernisha, that he was just like, I'm not sure this could actually be me long term. Now, the fact that he doubled down on choosing Kyra and somehow maneuvered Vernisha into accepting that that makes sense, and also charming her into not being actually done like she said she was, that's a credit to his charisma, because it was completely nonsensical. It was completely nonsensical. You can not want me, but don't try to convince me that you. Kyra came on here and said that they had never really had too many conversations past the mixer. They had not gone on any one-on-one dates. So why Vernisha is allowing herself to get hypnotized into complying with that being a valid course of option? Oh, well, I was just being honest, and I can't apologize for being honest. Being honest. Wow, it's like how they ended up that day on good terms. I do not understand. I don't understand it, because it would have been done for me. And if it wasn't done, I think that kiss would have killed it, because that looked like,
Awkward. Oh my days.
no, it just, yes, it was extremely awkward. I mean, it's kind of,
He wasn't trying to kiss.
no, exactly. You know what that reminded me of? Like when you watch those little like teen dramas and they try to make somebody kiss a person that likes them that they don't like back. And they're like, I'm going to do this just to be a good sport because I don't hate you, but I don't want to appear as though I'm enjoying it because I don't want you to get hope. It shouldn't have been nothing. It should have been nasty. It should have been like, we're out here making out. If that's your number one and been your number one for the whole time, like, why are y'all not excited to kiss for 10 seconds?
Come on now.
I was expecting tongue. I was expecting it to be awkward for the viewers. I was expecting to have to look away. I saw nothing. I was expecting that Adriana and Kalfani kiss, that last day kiss from last season. When I had to actually, I was like, oh my goodness. Nah, we got none of that. We got none of that heat. We got none of that fire. And especially since he's in a place of trying to reassure her and trying to rebuild with her. No, I think Vernisha needs to read the signs. She needs to take the hints. I think Joel, the only reason he's even still at the ranch is because he doesn't want to get rejected on TV. If that were not an element of this, he would have stopped calling Vernisha back like a long time ago.
I'm hearing you. Onu, I know you wanted to say some stuff. Go for it, bro.
Okay, like, all I'm going to say is this. If I had to kiss somebody in front of the panel, I might feel a particular way about that too. So I just wanted to let Joel get a little smoke. Let's say turn down a little bit for the efforts there. So he was a little shy. So I'm okay. Hopefully we'll see something better towards the next couple of weeks. But I get Vernisha's point about this whole situation. Like, she's been adamant about, I like Joel, I want to be with Joel. what we're now seeing, Joel is out here with a water ride talking to Vern, Kara, now Amber. It's like, okay, where's this going? So he's trying to backpedal his commitment, which now makes a lot more sense why he's not confirming he wants to be with Vern and he's picking somebody else. My issue was the fact that he's not willing to pick Vern, not just him saying Kyra, because again, like I don't see the energy between Kyra and Joel, but again, I could be misunderstood. If this last hour showed me anything, like I don't know what's going on in these Ready Love Streets, so I'm gonna need like the director's cut or like behind the scenes version to put this all together. But with that being said, I'm gonna give 85% the blame for Joel, because if he's not ready to move forward in that type of relationship with Vern, he at least needs to say it. He's not saying it. He's leading Vernisha on, and that's what the problem is, because Vernisha is like 100% into the Joel, and for the Joel and full basket, which was the same thing that KG and Nia had from last season. If you're gonna be 100% in and then you're gonna backtrack again, you're gonna have to give us a reason why. You can't just do it and not have an explanation that protect to the person. That's where Joel's becoming to look as a bad person, or he's becoming to look immature. So that's the issue I have with Joel. All the time you're spending with Vern and you still can't confirm with her that, hey, you want to move forward. What's the whole point?
Yeah, I'm definitely hearing you on that one. I think watching sorry, let me just do this because it echoes. Watching Venetia and Joel kiss was mad awkward. It's mad awkward too because he wasn't trying to really kiss, and then she has to hold his face, and I said to myself, "Oh no. This guy is doing her a number. He's doing her an absolute number, because even before the kiss, let's just talk about this lack of apology and the lack of ability to understand you have to offer an apology. When you decided to say someone else instead of when you decide to say someone else that you'd go home with, and you don't think that's going to hurt somebody's feelings, knowing that you've secured Vern as pretty much your number one, right? This is not open. You're no longer an open season, right? You're in closed season, because pretty much you've made Vern your number one from the beginning, which you keep saying. And then when she now comes to you about the fact that, listen, like about the situation of, you basically messed up, you can't understand and deep the fact that you should apologize at this moment. Now, I didn't like the way Leda picked up on it, and I think it was really good, because when I picked up on it, sometimes I pick up on it and I'm like, the audience is going to slew me if I pick up on it. They'll be like, yeah, black women were always on their neck. But the way she spoke to him, I said to him, he is never going to have it with you. He's never going to go long term with you. He won't. Because the way she spoke with it, passion is never a problem. We understand passion, we understand pain, we understand even anger. But the way she spoke towards him, the tone, I said, darling, he's not going to have that. Long term, he's not. He's not going to have that. Because there's a way that you can, that wasn't even, when someone's angry, the passion that comes out, that doesn't sound like that. That doesn't, the way she spoke didn't sound like that. That to me sounded like, yo, I'm going to put you in your place. And that's different. When you're angry, there's a different tone you take. But when you talk to someone like you're going to put them in their place, there was like an authority that came with the way she spoke. And it wasn't a positive one in this aspect. I was like, Vern, sis, I love you. And I know he's doing you dirty right now. But the way you're talking, baby, it's not going to end well. Not with this Joel. You know what I'm saying? So it's not that she is, I'm not even saying that she's even being aggressive or anything. I'm just saying in that moment, way she spoke, the tone, it was not going to yield the results that she wanted to do. Do you know what I'm saying? And so basically what she wanted to do was put him in his place. And if you know anything about a man as like Joel, or most men who got an ounce of pride, that is going to cause long-term issues. If she speaks to him like that in every disagreement that they have, he's never gonna want to stay. But going back to Joel's issue here as well, I just didn't understand how my man was trying to dodge the whole entire time and not understand you owe an apology. Sir, how does it take all the way KG to come in and explain this to you in more simple layman terms than what you heard before? I'm confused by that, bro. And I was like, Joel, you just didn't want to apologize. You basically didn't want to apologize. Because the reason why he doesn't want to apologize is because he's done. He does not care. You know what I'm saying? He's doing what he's doing to stay in the thing, but he actually doesn't care. He doesn't want Vern. You know, he might come and say, you know, he really appreciates her and he likes her, he finds her attractive. We know those things are real. You do find her attractive, you do like her, you do want her, but not enough to want her as a wife or as a partner. And so therefore, the disrespect, you're happy to go along with. Of course you will say Kyra's name. Who in their right mind likes a girl and says that someone says their best friend is who I'll go home with? It's like, you just don't do them things. You know what I'm saying? You just don't do them things. Anyway, let me let someone else jump in as well. Ken, do you have anything to add in terms of this?
About Vern and Joel?
Yeah, and there's a lack of apology, bruv.
Golly, watching that interaction was painful. Was just painful. It just, the communication just seemed so rudimentary for two very, very, very adult people who have kids and responsibilities and jobs that require them to communicate with customers and clients. And so to watch them just use so few words and just, oh my God, it was painful to watch. It was very painful to watch, if I'm being 100% blunt. Vern, I'm not even, my critique for Vern is not even so much about her tone. Because honestly, I believe in people being 100% human. And if she was frustrated, you know, and that's how it came out, because she's also embarrassed. Like, she has egg on her face in front of all these people for a man that she's been standing 10 toes down for. But my smoke for Vern, if I could even loosely use the word smoke, is that when someone shows you who they are, believe them. Right? The reason why she's coming off looking condescending, maternal to her man, is because he has proven to you that he is not up to the standard that you need a man to be in your life. And now you're trying to raise him. So that would be the only feedback I would give, is that you didn't even need to have that conversation. You need to let him go. The fact that you have to explain to him why choosing another woman above you is a problem is a problem. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't have smoke for how she said it. I have smoke for the fact that she even had to say it. Like, come on. Just pack your dignity in a purse and walk away. When she walked, like, before I got to all of the back and forth, the first time when she walked out to the girls, after initially she was in the kitchen with him trying to talk about it, and the camera shows her walking out to the girls saying, you know, this is done. I was like, okay, that's the energy. This is done. And then she kept coming back and continue to have this conversation. And then she starts saying things like, you know, I don't stay angry long and all kinds of things. And I'm just like, sis, he's making your reaction seem like the problem and not his ineptitude, lack of communication, and overall emotional immaturity. Right? You're not the problem here. Yeah, maybe somebody can give you feedback as to how you reacted, but that really is not. That's the branches. The root is Joel's misdemeanor, right? That's the problem here. And the fact that you have to still advertise yourself as, okay, I'm not a woman who stays angry for a long time. Like, what are we doing here? Like, she's gaslighting herself now at that point. You know, it was just very, very disappointing. Like, she was trying to sell herself. It was a desperate move. I'm sorry, Vern. I love you. I don't love you. I don't know you, but I think you're cute. You know, I think cute. Yeah, I think you've carried yourself with a nice spirit. You seem fun in the lives and everything. But in that moment, you lost. Like, when you're afraid of losing someone, you lose your power, because you will do anything to keep them. And that's what we saw manifesting. You always need to hold in your cards that you will choose yourself at the end of the day. If your standards, your values, your identity, the principles that are dear to you are being attacked, you always have to hold that card. The moment you let it go and make it seem like you're afraid of losing, and that person to the point where you're willing to let those things go, you've lost your power. Joel knows if they have a true relationship going forward, Joel knows that really nothing is really a deal breaker as long as he can talk his way around it. It's only going to be a deal breaker when she's tired. He knows that his cup isn't necessarily full. He knows he's not at risk with her. And there's a certain lack of respect that comes with that knowledge. And that's what I'll say on the Vern aspect. Joel, look, I love the fact that you're a chef. I love a man that can cook. That food looked amazing.
Fire.
I wanted some. It looked fire. But you had 2 weeks to tell Vernisha that you kissed someone else. Here we are talking. In that 2 weeks, we've talked about Liz telling David that she kissed Jason. We've talked about Amber telling the ladies that she kissed Joelle on the cheek. We've talked about a few people being honest. And in those 2 weeks, Joelle, you've kept mum. You've not said a word. I don't like that lack of transparency. I don't like that lack of honesty. I don't like the fact that he tries to also use physicality to evade accountability. And Vernice is like, oh, when we're in the room, he can't stop touching me. That's okay. All right, girl. Don't let the fact that you're physically, sexually connected with someone blind you from who they truly are. Like, the physicality is just blinding. It's very blinding. And Joelle is gonna do as much as Vernisha lets him, and she's gonna let him do a lot. And I'll just drop it there.
Good points. Layla, I don't know if you want to say anything.
Kenny, yes, everything that you said. And let me just say, Vern's tone being an issue for me is not the crux of the problem, even though I do think it is the seed that was planted in Joel that kicked a lot of this into motion.
Agree.
When I heard her speaking that way, I did not believe it was solely a function of what he just did or did not do, or what she found out. That sounded like a pathway. That just sounded like a set pathway in her. That sounded like a tone that's just in her regular bag of, when I am this emotion, this is how I sound. And she may, as an entrepreneur, as a single mom, as many things in her life, she may need to use that tone to be effective. Or maybe it's just, look, we're all human, like you said. Like, I'm sure I sound crazy sometimes too. But it's really just one of those things that, even though we're all human in different ways. We all exhibit different aspects of humanity. And that specific one, I know for me personally, I wouldn't be able to deal with, because you're going to experience those emotions. But every time you experience them, I can't be spoken to that way. Do you know what I mean? So it is something that I think at that age, you do take into consideration. And I think the selfish aspects of Joel being like, I don't want to move on completely from Vernisha, even though I'm seeing things that I don't like. I don't want to move on completely from her without setting up a strong enough backup plan to carry me through to the finale, which is, I believe, his driving motivation. I think that's what has him on the fence, and that's what has him acting passive aggressively towards Vernisha. So, standing her up, calling out Kyra's name, continuing to date Amber, kissing her, even though those aren't things that you could say are about Vernisha, like specifically, I do believe that, like, just the mismatch in communication is what got them to this place, because that's what he said. He said, we had a miscommunication, and it wasn't the first time, and it's happened several times. So I'm not blaming her. I'm just saying that these are the things that has him allowing himself to act this way. And it's shame on him, but it's also shame on her, because I'm like, instead of taking that tone, just be done like you said you were. You know what I mean? Just be completely done. The first time, I feel like I got it. But when you went outside and you said, it's a wrap, it's a whole wrap. Chris came in, tried to save him, and he didn't even really try to save himself. But somehow he's over here on dry land. What'd you say, Kojo?
I said it at one point. Joe be smiling. I'm like, bro, why are you
He
smiling? It's
didn't
not a
like
smiling moment.
he was not even gonna try his hardest. He wasn't even trying his hardest to get her back. That's the part that it's like, yes, he stank, but it like, yes, he's not right for that, but it's like, you know, why are you like accepting the half try? So because we haven't known each other a long time. But hey, listen, like Amber said, that everything moves quickly, so maybe feelings develop quicker as well. Because I understand she wouldn't be the only first or last woman to, accept less than a deserved apology in order to just, maintain blissful feelings. But yeah, I just wish she wouldn't. I wish he had really truly been done and he would have really truly felt the consequences and had to decide how he wanted to move going forward. But now it's like he's just going to maintain status quo of mediocre.
Joe, can I just
Yeah.
quickly say something?
Yeah, go
Remember
for it.
season 1, Michael and Shay, when Michael was was messing between Shay and this other character, and even right down to the wire. I think they went to a cabin, a retreat as one of their dates.
Oh, Michael. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Big Mike Bless. And they went to like a cabin retreat, and all of the couples were there, kind of similar to what we saw this last episode. And Mike was messing with Shay, but then also had another person who was an option. And like it was almost down to the wire. He was still saying he was confused, and Shay called his bluff. And Shay was like, "Okay, if you can't decide, I'm out." And she packed her things and left. And he pretty much was like, "Okay, be gone." And she was like, "Okay, I'm out." And then he had to go out, chase after her, go to the car and talk her down and pretty much say, "Okay, look, I want it to be me and you." I don't know if you remember this
I
scene
remember
I'm
this.
painting.
I remember this.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean when I say when you are more afraid of losing someone than you are about preserving your dignity, you've lost. Because Shay was carrying the energy of, look, if you have to make me choose between me and you, I will always choose me. Always choose me. And she was like, I'm not like, you cannot come at me with this energy of I'm your number one, but then still say you're conflicted. And Shay called his bluff and walked out. And at the end of the day, he was forced to make a choice, and they ended up, being the couple till the end. But it didn't last. But when you watch that season, you see you respect both of them. You respect Mike for putting aside his ego because of the
Yep.
woman that he was caring about, and you respect Shay for coordinating herself with dignity. So you don't even think about the fact that it didn't end up working out in general. And when you do think about it, you kind of like, oh, they were, with fondness. But you watch that interaction and you have so much respect for their interaction as a couple. Now, that was the maturity level I was expecting to see with these couples this season. Instead, we have this person begging this man to understand that the fact that he thinks that she's easily disposable is a problem. Begging him to see her value, begging him to choose her, despite all that she's given him and how much she's repped him being her number one. That's literally, like, I just wanted to bring that back again to the forefront, the Mike Shay example, so that folks understand what I mean by when someone in your life, and it doesn't even have to be a romantic relationship, and this is kind of, it ties into boundaries. When someone in your life makes it that you have to choose between them and yourself. And when I say yourself, I mean your values, your principles. I'm not talking about, you being kind, you being generous, because that's, being generous is a value. Being kind is a principle. You understand? Like, those are good things. But when they make you have to come out of yourself, have to come out of your identity, and they make you have to choose between tolerating their nonsense and preserving your identity, your principles, and your values, choose yourself every single time. Because, like, to what Max said, you don't want someone that respects your values, you want someone that shares them.
No, I'm hearing you on this big time, big time. I think, yeah, Michael and Shay was such a. I remember that clearly because I got a lot of hits for that still. But I remember that particular one very, very clear because the way she did it, she was like, "Listen, I am gone. You keep playing this thing. I'm not here. I'm leaving. She went and got her bag, started packing her bag like she was leaving her mum's home, leaving like Abraham left his father's home, packing her stuff, took herself outside. My guy had to chase her outside and be begging her, listen, don't be doing this, come back inside, da, da, da. So you're right. I mean, you have to, and this is the thing, you have to, and you have to be truthful with it, right? Because you called the bluff, but if you're calling the bluff, you got to be ready to leave if the person also doesn't come after you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to keep going. Yeah, even if you don't feel it, keep going. So yeah, I remember Mike and Shay, and I think you're right here with Vern. I think, you know, he's shown on a few occasions that he's not really serious. And I think what would have helped her would have been that she had other options. The other options got deaded because she was so invested in Joel. Was it Joel or Joel? Joel. She was so invested in Joel that no one else could get a look in. And that reduced her power. And this is, like I said to you, the game of dating, the more options you have, the more power you have. The more options you have, more than likely, the more cooler and more calmer you're going to be, because you're not stressed thinking about one egg or one basket that you're going to put your egg into. So yeah, I was like, I can understand why she's stressed because she's only got one basket. But yeah, it's
tight. But I 100% agree with you. I don't disagree with you about in the game of dating, when you have multiple options, you're not stressing one person over the other if someone wants to mess up. But I think also, just to be clear, what I'm speaking to is also in the game of dating, sometimes, like, even with all the options, choose yourself. You get what I mean? Like, it's not, even if you only had one option, the other option is yourself. The other option is always yourself. Choose yourself. It's okay. Like, even if you only have one option, desperation is not an option. It's either the other person, desperation, or yourself and dignity. Choose yourself.
Hey, choose yourself. As I said, choose yourself. Very, very important. I've got someone in the background who wanted to add. So, no, suppose you wanted to add to the conversation.
Can y'all hear me?
We can.
Yeah,
We're gonna end this live in about 15 minutes. So, because we're a little bit tired, and I don't want to do half-eyed. So, but please, sis, add to the conversation.
I just wanted to speak on the interview we did with Amber. I think Amber is definitely playing the game, which I can respect. But Amber is very sneaky. I just thought it was very interesting how she said that she felt it was her duty to tell Vern about the Joelle picking Kyra, but she didn't feel the need to tell Vern about the kiss. I feel like either she shouldn't have said nothing at all either way, or brought both things up. And also, I just thought, it was interesting with her and KG, how to me she was a little agreeable when it came to the kids and little things like that. I kind of feel like she's agreeable. I think she's strategic as well. I thought it was strategic how she tried to kind of depict Ron like he was a liar, but he was telling the truth about Joelle picking Vern, but I guess he was lying about their supposed kiss, right? So to me, it's like either he was lying or he wasn't lying. I think it's more to the story that she doesn't want to share, or maybe, probably because the show still isn't over yet. But I just think she's being very strategic in what she's saying, even to the point where she tried to act like we as the audience didn't hear her say Ron is the one who told her about Joelle picking Vern. And you had to kind of remind her, like, you told us that, right? And then she was like, oh, so she's very sneaky and strategic. I like Amber, though, because she's definitely playing the game. But I don't think really she likes any of the guys, to be honest. I don't think none of them like each other, to be honest with you. But, it was just that whole interview with Amber. She kept talking more and more. It was like she kind of was talking in circles. And I just was like, okay, I think she kind of has a thing for Joelle. And I think she was upset that Joelle picked Kyra in that moment. I think she was throwing a little shade to his situation with Vern too, because it's like, if she's not your friend, it didn't matter whether he picked Kyra or not, because it has nothing to do with you. So that's all I wanted to say. I'm about to go out, so everybody have a wonderful evening.
Them screets.
Thanks, sis.
Thank you. Them screets, okay?
Thank you. Screets are calling your name
so much. Kenny, I love you. Thank you, guys.
Nosy Posey, thanks for joining. The streets are calling your name. You're going
Go
to
for
the
it.
streets.
It's hot.
It's hot.
Yeah, good points there she made. I mean, to be honest, okay, so one of the things that even that interview with the Amber situation, listen, there is a lot of times Amber, if I'm honest, contradicted herself. I just didn't always attack every single point, but I needed her to talk at length so we can get her going in the, so we can get everything out, right? Because the more the person talks, the more that they're gonna give you information. And it didn't make, okay, so the part that didn't make sense for me is the girl code stuff. The loyalty at points was just shifting and moving like North Pole, South Pole at any given time. And I was like, wait, so are you friends at this moment? Were you not friends at this moment? And I think we got the truest answer from her. And that's what I do appreciate. She did eventually get to the truest answer. The truest answer, the reason why she said, is not just because of Vern. The truest answer why she said what she said is because she felt some type of way. Old boy Joel didn't say her name, like Destiny's Child. Instead, he decided to say Kairos. And she felt pressed by that. Do you know what I'm saying? And that I can work with, because now I know, okay, cool. That's why you chose to do it there and then. Because if this really was about her, I just don't see you bringing this up in front of everybody. And by the way, it was at the beginning when it was there. It was Kyra, Liz. I saw Alexis, and I saw Vern. That's the whole squad. At the beginning, it was a whole squad. The guys weren't there, but all the ladies were. So I felt like she could have potentially could have brought her to the side, Vern, and just said it to her. So I wasn't it didn't make sense to me, because she understood when her friend Alexis brought her information, she could have pulled her to the side. If you understand pulling to the side, then why don't you pull someone else to the side? That was my kind of thing there. Onu, talk to us, man. What are you saying, bro? You can be Vern, or you can be Joe, it could be anybody you want to talk about, bro.
I mean, just going so much there. Like, the girl, I mean, I think it was the girl code with Amber. Like, there's really no girl. I don't see any sisterarity or any girl code being honored amongst the female contestants. They're just trying to one up each other. I think if anything I got from this interview, that's what's pretty much what's happening. Amber included. I felt like when you see them interact, even though they're saying that, I mean, I guess with Alexis calling her Judas, like, you want them to be friendly with each other, but again, it's like everyone's out there for their own self-interest. And we compare it to the guys, at least the guys will stick up for each other. They're willing to look out for each other, especially when they messed up. KG came inside and gave all the information while Vern was spilling the tea out to all the girls. You see Jason and KG, even though there's Kyra in between them, they're still giving each other support and not making a big deal on the cameras. Whereas the women, you don't see that. They're just blowing up left and right. No one's looking at their best interest. Everyone's looking how to make the other person feel less powerful, less significant. And that's the issue. Again, we've been saying this. I've been hearing lectures about all the weeks. It's like, if girl code actually exists, these things wouldn't be happening. And like, why are we seeing this time and time again? Why are we seeing this again now on the show? That's my take.
Some strong points. Maria's in the background. Maria, welcome to the convo.
Hey guys, how
Maria,
are
right,
you guys?
Hey.
We're good. We're doing well. We've got about 12 minutes left, because we're not going to go to 1 hour, and then I'm going to go live tomorrow, invite whoever wants to come on. Feel free to come on, but because I know we're getting late in the night, I don't want to do a half-botched job, right? So what's your thoughts on either Amber and Amber's interview, or even Vern and Joel? I don't want to go to David. I want to savor that for tomorrow. We can get a meeting to that. Mm-hmm.
That's actually what I wanted to talk about with Amber's interview. And I was listening to you guys talk about it. And I think the young lady was talking about, she thinks that, Amber is very strategic and everything. And one thing I love about your interviews is you start at the beginning of like their life and their childhood. And I think if we pay more attention to that part of the information, it can lend a lot of context to like the actions that we see these people playing out in more present day scenarios, right? So she talked about, you know, growing up in foster care, having different parents, having a rough patch with one of her mothers, I believe it was. She was adopted. So I think that she developed very strong independent skills at an early age. And she did say this, right? So, you know, probably she's a very counter dependent type of a person who, if you notice, like even on the show, she moves as like a lone wolf or like a lone ranger. You know, like she's pretty much not really in any part of clique or whatever, but she's pretty much cool with everybody. She sticks to herself for the most part. She does her own thing, but you know, she's still making, you know, strategic connections here and there. You know what I'm saying? It's like people confide in her, but she may not confide in them in the way that, you know, unless it serves her purpose, you know? So I feel like, you know, we do see elements of that playing out in some of these scenarios. Like, I think that whole conversation with Vernisha and Joel, like, I feel like she brought that whole thing up because she was feeling a type of way that Joel didn't like say her name, you know? Come on now. You're being self-serving. Just admit it. Like, you're not thinking about sisterhood, girl code. You're not even friends with Renisha. So why would you care? Like, you're just stirring up stuff for what? Kyra was right there and Kyra knew. Like, Kyra could have said something if she wanted to say something. Like, she went out of her own business, like so intentionally, you know? So it's just like, I don't know, like, and then listening to her interview, it was the spinning of the spinning of the spinning. Like,
she's quality.
Yo, the whiplash after that was dangerous. I was like, okay, so basically nothing makes sense from your side of the story. So I don't know. That's all I had to say. I didn't want to talk long or like take up the time or whatever, but I just wanted to kind of draw some correlations between like her background as a child, which gives her more of like an independent lone ranger. I'm gonna be the one to pull the strings. No one's gonna, you know, sneak up behind me. I'm gonna pimp this whole thing out, you know, like, and everything. So I'm like, okay, sis, do you think?
No, I'm definitely with you, and I'll let some of the others add before we close. And yeah, I mean, she did admit to being that lone wolf kind of person, and kind of just being dependent upon herself and being independent from a very young age. So it's no surprise that, you know, being on the show, she now we get this information. She moved with such stealth. This you know what I mean? Like, this girl has I need to actually deep it.
Crafty beaver.
The craftiness was A1, a freaking one. And like I said, I clocked it when she dropped that comment about their kiss. I said, nah, this girl is dangerous, bro. How can a whole DA not understand what words to use in that moment? And she actually admitted it. She said, obviously, she's admitted it by saying the girls, obviously, they do elaborate and kind of exaggerate when they come into each other's presence. Oh no, no, darling. Then you're also part of that exaggeration, which means when you said what you said, you exaggerated on purpose. So, you know, she's got a killer instinct. I'm not. I can't hate on the game. You know what I mean? Like, this is the game, and the you know that she's playing. And you know me, every season I say this, like, when someone plays a game, I just respect the fact the game is cold. Do you understand? And I never saw her coming. That is why I said it's so cold. Out of everybody, and that's probably because of the edits and stuff, I never saw how cold she was, like, in terms of just being able to execute what she executed. You know, taking everything else out of it emotion wise, just as a game, watching that was A1. Oni, what are you gonna say?
I mean, that you said killer instinct. I said Kobe. Like, I just did not expect. I did not expect this coming out of her. And it's just like, I mean, going back to the beginning part when she talked about how she's more logical versus emotional. Like, I feel like it's almost a game it's Monopoly. It's so strategic. It's like chess moves. She's trying she's trying to do whatever it's gonna make her get her best interest out there versus everybody else. The problem is like you want her to care about other people. She doesn't. She's all about herself, and she's aligned herself in a way that she can benefit. She can benefit from going in and out of these different circles or different relationship with these guys, and there's just nothing no one's gonna say about it. We don't know about this until she tells us. She tells us in a live about the show, which is scary. Because if she's capable of doing that on a show, like what does she do in real life?
I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you. Anybody else want to add? We've got last 5 minutes. Anybody want to add? Feel free. Don't be afraid.
Yeah, it's interesting that you said we didn't know that she was this cold, because I feel like that's what we were picking up on the entire time. Like sometimes people would say like, I'm having a hard time connecting with Amber, or like Amber's so flat. Amber seems so like removed. She seemed very detached. And she's told us multiple times, I think in her introduction, it was like, oh, I tend to be extremely logical. And she said it on this interview, I'm super logical, very independent. Like, it's very much like I came on a reality show that's about dating, but there's also a game aspect to it. So logically speaking, you want to get the highest common denominator. So you want to be able to date the people who stimulate you the most, but also win. So am I going to take a couple L's on like, which specific people that is, or am I going to move in ways that sort of give me a lot of options to jump from one, one pad to the next? Yeah, that's what she's doing. So it's like she's really looking at it like X's and O's on the board, and that's I guess that all fits together. It's like I was always wondering, like some people would say things like, oh, it just isn't all the way connecting there. And it's like, no, now we know. It's just she has the ability to detach. And like Maria said, that is informed by some of the things that she explained to us during the live. People seem so like they seem so like warm, and everyone has things that they have sort of healed over the best way they know how, right? But like you were saying, that's so much to go through as a child. And she said, like, my sister remembers all of that. Like she remembers like the bad things, and my dad only remember the good things.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like such an amazing quality to be able to have traumatic circumstances in your childhood and be able to sort of still be a productive and thriving member of society. But occasionally there is like a slight cost to that. Do you know what I mean? So it's like what we're seeing now is like, because it's she had the same somewhat flat affect for a little bit of the interview, but then when it got into that's just the culture of the ladies' lounge.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, the energy shift is very telling right now. Like I literally was like, wow, that's interesting. So you are fired up about this competition, because that's what we're describing, a competitive spirit in the ladies' lounge.
Yep.
You're a little bit, this is the most animated I've seen you pretty much ever for a sustained period. So that was interesting.
Oni, you open your mic. Go for it.
Oh, I mean, I agree. I just don't. It's like I like when like her life experiences and like her childhood. I don't know how they're impacting her as an adult right now. Again, like when we have bad or not good effects, they kind of affect us who we are. Like again, like when I was little, I was shy. I wasn't someone I want to talk to or engage. So it was very hard for me to actually talk and meet people, especially when I got to high school and got to college. So I get how that kind of made me more reluctant to make new friends, and that could have probably impacted future relationships. But to me, that's not a negative impact to my social upbringing. Whereas for her, it's like she's morphed into a different person, and that person that she's morphed into is like, okay, she doesn't have regards to other people. It's one thing. It's one thing to be this ruthless DA attorney, but when you're using that towards your dating life and when you're meeting other potential prospects, again, there's difficulties over there. And it's like when you start analyzing all the situations, especially the situation with the ex that happened to like like men and women, and you see how it affected her, had her readjust and rethink certain things, and how she approached and looked at relationships. And again, we're thinking that KG is the safe person for her to go with. Maybe it's actually a situation where she can have control and do exactly what she wants to do, and be more uplifting to other people around. And if that's the case, this is a dangerous woman to be around. And it's like today, I was today years old when I found that out. That's the most shocking part.
Listen, the conversation is just about to get juicy, but I'm gonna have to end it. We're at the 1 hour mark. Listen, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go live tomorrow. Okay, I'll go live tomorrow. I'll probably go live around about 6 p.m. CST. Yeah, 6 p.m. That's nice and early. Okay. Maybe I should make it a little bit earlier so that you can go, because you lot go like 3-4 hour thing in it. You know what I'm saying? It's a Sunday. We need you lot to rest up and go on your Monday things. You know what I'm saying? So we'll do about 5 p.m. CST so that you guys get sleep early. Do you know what I'm saying?
We appreciate you.
No, it's not. It's love. It's not everybody that's full time doing this, so I understand. I've got to be courteous. So yeah, tomorrow we're gonna go live again tomorrow, guys. Okay, we're gonna go live tomorrow. Okay, we'll do 5 p.m. CST. Okay, and we're gonna go deeper into these issues because I think Onu just kind of we've all been banging it just nicely, but I think where you rested it on is a really interesting conversation. Because I think we kind of touched about this, I think, in the last time we came together and we spoke about not sure why Amber was seeing KG, right? And we thought it was a money thing. But maybe you're right. Maybe it isn't the money thing. But it maybe is that she has an element of control in this relationship with KG. Maybe. It's not the absolute truth. We're just kind of speculating and giving our views and points.
She definitely does.
She's a DEA. Kind of serves her. Okay.
I'll answer that for you. Yes.
Just deciding in there. I don't know about dangerous. But I think what Onu's trying to say, and Onu, let me know if I'm putting words into your mouth. She's very strategic for sure, but I don't necessarily know that she would use it for danger. Let's not forget, she's a DA. She has seen the worst of the worst in criminals. So I'm just saying, all right, sorry, Kojo, boundaries. I'll respect yours.
No, you're good. No, good. See, this is what I'm saying. I know that the conversation. Look, remember these points, you know. That's where we're gonna start from tomorrow. Remember these. But we
already solved the case. She definitely does.
We're gonna reopen the case, even though it's solved. We're gonna reopen the case again. Okay, because you guys are talking some real stuff. You know, I honestly, I think there's some real stuff that you guys are breaking down, and like that's what I love about you guys. You go deep and you think deep as well, and it just gives a level of education to myself and the rest of the audience. So guys who are in the audience, thank you so much. You lot came out 600 strong. We appreciate you. I know it's late. Listen, we're gonna be here tomorrow 5 p.m. CST. We're gonna go again, okay, and we will have a fuller time to be able to explore all the themes and different things that happened on the show, because there was a lot to go through. David didn't even got no smoke yet. Okay, he didn't even get no smoke today. Okay,
are we gonna talk about Ron?
We're going to talk about Ron too, because he's going to need some smoke too. I know Onu specifically has smoke, and I know he's thinking to himself, the day has come when I told you guys what I told you.
Wait, I wanted to say something about Vernisha, and I'm probably not going to make it tomorrow. So
you got to keep it to 30 seconds.
Okay, no, just keep going. It's good.
You sure?
Good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'll say it another time.
You have to join us tomorrow, innit? Listen, guys, make sure you like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification uploads. We appreciate you. Stay locked and stay loaded. We're going to have our after chat anyway, I'm sure, and they can tell us what they feel. All right?